Most traders are obsessed with where price is going, but are completely blind to the timing component of trading. This leads to them getting chopped up due to noise because they're on too small of a time frame, or missing out on a trade because they were waiting for their signals on too high of a time frame. I was no different until my mentor shared a way with me on how to determine what time frame the market is actually operating on. And this proved my trading drastically. And I know that it can for you too. Now, the main point to take away from this video is that developing a system to navigate timeframes in the market will improve your trading. I'm going to share with you mine, but if it doesn't resonate, that's fine. Okay, this isn't the only way to do this. And the goal is simply to have a process that gives you an edge beyond using fixed time frames or the same 3 time frames that you look at each day. I'm putting my entire system and strategies on YouTube that I've been using for the past 8 years as a full-time trader. It's all free for you guys to take advantage of, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't fall behind on the trainings. Let's dive in. All right. So first thing that I do for navigating timeframes is I use an indicator called TDI. You can get this free. It's basically the same as RSI, has a few other additions to it, but you can use RSI. You can use basically any ranging indicator that ranges from 0 to 100 for navigating timeframes. So RSI is where I started off with this, and you can also use TDI GM as well. Traders Dynamic Index by Goldmines works and is basically the foundation of this one for the NewWave TDI that I use. Okay, I've just made some different additions to it. Now, if we zoom out, we're going to start off on the highest time frame that we can find the cleanest range on. What I mean by this is when we're in an uptrend, this is the rule, is that we range on RSI between 40 and 100. You can see here on Bitcoin, I've got a monthly chart up right now, and every time we've pulled back to the 40, we've been ranging between 40 to 100. So notice the 2 ranges that I put on my TDI indicator here. The green box is going to be bullish support in an uptrend, and the red box is going to be resistance in a downtrend. So we can see that we're clearly in a monthly uptrend, and every time we pull back into the 40-50 pocket, that's our support zone for our corrections to be done and over with. Now, you can see a couple of times here and here where we create a little bit more of a rounded bottom before seeking continuation back towards the upside. Even this was a pretty rounded bottom here as well. Okay, and so based off of the monthly time frame, we'd assume that we'd get more of a bear market bottom forming out where we're currently at right now as well. As we go down into time frames, we're going to be able to see different ranges that are forming out here. So I would say that overall macro, we're operating off of a monthly time frame. So if I wanted to pick the top, say, of this overall macro run here, I'd be looking for monthly reversal divergence signals on TDI or RSI or any indicator that I'm using. All right, I would be labeling this entire uptrend as a monthly time frame, and that's the signals I'd be looking on. Now, as we go down to weekly, we go ahead and we get rid of the monthly uptrend, and we instead stick on a weekly uptrend. You can see here that we're still ranging between 40 and 100 in this period and the green box. So I would label this a weekly uptrend, and I would look for weekly signals to be printing here. So if I wanted to call or look to scale out towards the top of this run here, I'd be looking for reversal divergence on the weekly time frame to be pairing up with monthly reversal divergence between this pivot over here at 62K and these highs up here. Now, when we deal with reversal divergence or signals like that, I'm looking for one where it rejects in the 60-70 zone. I actually did a video on this that I'll pin right up here for you guys to check out because it shows you the strongest signals on the RSI that most people miss and they get into early because of it. Now, pairing that up with navigating timeframes like this is going to be super beneficial, and it's going to really cut out a lot of that noise where you get chopped up in or being on too high of a time frame and never seeing that signal print at all. Now, we can see here on the weekly time frame that we had multiple divergences that printed, but we never care about the divergence that prints until we get into the resistance pocket, which is that 60-70 pocket there. So you can see if we waited for that reversal divergence to print in that pocket, you catch literally the top of this entire run here from the weekly standpoint, okay? Now, we've gone from the monthly and we've identified this as a weekly. So within this weekly, we'd have different trends. We'd have this move here would be labeled as a certain time frame trend, and a quick tip on this is just navigating in multiples of 4 to 5. That's always the rule when it comes down to time frames, is I want to go from like 3 minutes to 15 minutes to 75 minutes to an hour, or 2.5 hours. Like those are all multiples of 5, whereas multiples of 4 would be like 15 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours, 16 hours. So, and then you can do a combination. You could go from like 3 minutes to 15 minutes to 1 hour to 4 hour to daily, right? Where you're kind of changing up, but the whole key point here is that you're going between multiples of 4 to 5 because it offers enough fractal time frame to tell a different story. When I go from 1 hour to 2 hour, there's not enough time difference between those two time frames to tell a different story. You don't get to see the fractal nature of the market between 1 hour and 2 hour, but you do get to see the fractal nature of the market between 1 hour and 4 hour. So I was always taught to navigate time frames in multiples of 4 and 5, and it's been very efficient using that process. So here's our weekly uptrend. So I would be able to come in and say I'd break these structures here down, for example, into, without even going down and looking at the ranges, I would just go into a multiple of 4 from the weekly time frame. So we'd have 7 days there, so I could say a day and a half. So daily to 2 days would be these trends in here that I've labeled in yellow trend lines. All right. And we do the same thing when we're projecting forward in time as well. So if these are basically daily moves to me here, daily to 2 day moves, then this whole move here is about the same size as these guys over here. That's probably going to be ranging on like a 2 day time frame as well. So if I go down to 2 days, we can see we'd be looking for a box between 70 resistance to 0. And there it is in red. So we can see here that this would be considered a 2 day downtrend is how I would label that. Now, if I want to seek continuation of that, then I'd be looking for the 2 day trend on TDI to come back up to 60-70, pocket somewhere with a dead cat bounce. So if I pair this up with a pattern, whether that be harmonics, Elliott wave, traditional classical chart patterns, it doesn't really matter. Any sort of pattern, Wyckoff, SMC, you're taking a pattern and you pair it with TDI, it makes it so much stronger in regards to being able to identify where you should be looking for that pattern to be forming on and on what time frame. So in this case here, I'd be looking for a bear market continuation, I'd be looking for a dead cat bounce that looks like 3 legs of equality that basically retrace back up until my 2 day TDI indicator hits the 60-70 pocket again. And so if I hit that really fast, let's say that we just shoot straight up like that, and my TDI comes right into the 60-70 pocket, well, that pattern is likely a continuation pattern, right? Because we've got the monthly uptrend that has reset itself. So from a monthly standpoint, from macro traders, they'd be looking at this as our correction being done, and we're seeking new highs, unless the monthly time frame is going to be going into its own downtrend correction, aka a bigger bear market in that case. All right, but we don't know that yet. This is the whole point of being able to project out. But I can project what time frame these signals are likely to occur on. So I'd be looking for the 2 day time frame to come up to 60-70. Well, that means that if I want to go in a multiple of 4 to 5 here, right, I'd be looking at something like an 8 hour time frame for this bounce up here to be occurring in. Okay, so my first leg, I would be looking for us to retrace back to 60-70 zone and having us downtrend on this time frame here. So maybe I get another pullback here, another leg up, and the TDI does something like this, where we land right into that 60-70 pocket again, and looking for this to downtrend on a 8 hour time frame here. Okay. Now that would be the first leg that would be creating our larger 2 day correction. So it kind of acts as like Russian nest dolls in regards to a fractal nature of the market, right? One doll sitting in the next doll, sitting in the next doll. And that's the fractal nature of the markets here as well. And I'm just using a ranging indicator to basically label and tell me which time frame each one of these moves is likely occurring on, so that I'm not dropping into too small of a time frame and getting chopped up by noise, and I'm not on too high of a time frame and completely missing the signal altogether. Now, one key aspect about navigating in these time frames here is what I call transitions. Okay, and I'll leave a little cheat sheet down below for you guys, but let's talk right here about transitions for an uptrend. All right, now if you can see here, we're not always ranging between 40 to 50 because eventually we have to go into corrections. And so in between going from an uptrend into a correction, we deal with what I call a 3-step transition, okay? And there's 2 different types of these transitions when we're in an uptrend. The first one here is that we break the 40 on TDI, and then we retest 60-70, and then we end up going back underneath 40 again. All right, so let's go down here to the weekly time frame, and we look at the reversal divergence where we get rejected at 60-70 right here as transition signal 1. Okay, now we drop and we break underneath 40. That's transition signal 2. So now the third one is assumed. What's the third one? That we come back up to the 60-70 pocket from the weekly time frame. And once we do that, now we would look for us to downtrend even further, and we can be stuck in this downtrend if we wanted for indefinitely, and we'd eventually move into a monthly downtrend. type of a situation. But this is what the transition would look like in real time, where we don't have 100% confirmation of it yet, but that is what I would be looking for. Okay. Now we can do the same thing back here between another correction as well. But let's look at the second way that we can do this is reject at 60-70 resistance. Okay, break under 40, and then again retest the 60-70. So that's the one that we just did. This one right here is the one where we're looking for us to just break 40 first. All right, so an example of that would be us coming into the 2-day time frame here, where we've got this red box, and if you follow this line here, we end up coming down and just breaking underneath 40 right off the bat, and then we come back up to 60-70, reject there, right at the top of this dead cat bounce. Then we end up coming back down again, breaking that 40 mark again, back up to 60, 60 again on these two pivot highs here. Now, when we're coming out of a downtrend like this and we're transitioning into a new uptrend, we're going to be looking for a transition where it's the exact opposite of that. Either we're going to use 40 as support first, which is this low here, and then that's transition signal 1. We then break above 70 here. That becomes transition signal 2. And then the third is always assumed that we're going to end up using the pullback to 40-50 as support here. Now, what you end up training your eye on here, because it's not picture perfect, nothing is in the markets here. So you're going to basically train your eye to start to see these patterns and be able to project them out. And they always work much more efficiently when you pair them up with a system, right? With your analysis, patterns, whatever it might be. This by itself isn't the secret sauce, right? It's the combination of pairing components together that makes your strategy so much more powerful. So on this move here, we would look for us now as we go into, say, a weekly time frame, where we ended up dropping underneath 40 for just a bliss second there on the 2-day time frame. The weekly time frame came right back into that 40-50 support and even deeper into it right here as well. That's both of these lows for us to transition into this uptrend. And then every time from there that we ended up pulling back on the weekly time frame, we ended up being done with our corrections and pivoting back towards the upside again. Now, what's really cool about this is that let's say that I'm pivoting off of the weekly and I miss this entry in here. Well, I can still look at what time frame this move here is operating on in red and go down into that time frame to look for my strategy or signals to get me in on the smaller time frame corrections in here, because I missed the bigger time frame move, right? So the market say it moved without me. Well, I can drop into the right time frame, not too noisy of a time frame and not too high of a time frame to where I don't get any sort of a signal at all, right? If I wait for a signal to print again on the weekly time frame for me to get in the market, I'm not getting in until all the way up here at $55,000. But if I drop into, say, the 4-hour time frame and I look at the TDI here, I can actually see that because we don't have any ranges taking place, notice that I'm completely flying through the 40 mark and way above 70. When I have this wide of a range that's taking place here, it tells me that I'm on too low of a time frame. So the 4-hour time frame is too low of a time frame to navigate this cleanly. You'll end up getting chopped up. So let's say that we go to a daily time frame instead. Boom. Now the daily time frame is much cleaner, right? We missed the weekly time frame move right here, and the market started moving without us. And so we zoom in and we go into the daily time frame instead, and we look for these retests that come back to the 40-50 support. And that would have gotten us much cleaner entries into this type of a correction right over here. You could end up doing this again by going into the 4-hour time frame and just looking for this move from here to here instead. Let's go ahead and label that purple and zoom in and see if we can find that on the 4-hour time frame. All right, so here's our purple. And we're looking for a range on the 4-hour time frame now. And we can see here that we're holding the 40-50 support all the way through here. So this is where we would look for a back test into the 40-50 pocket for us to take advantage of 4-hour time for trend continuation. Now, in a move like this, because we're dropping into smaller and smaller time frames, you're going to get smaller moves before we go into a correction on that time frame. So in this case here, notice that we just get signals that pop us up to this last one here before next. This is where our daily corrections started pulling back to, and our daily time frame was telling us to get into the market on these pullbacks in here. What I'm going to do for you guys is drop cheat sheets down below in the description for you, and it's going to basically have this entire process mapped out on the 3 transition types, the 2 different types, and the steps for each one of them. That way you guys can go and apply this and practice it. It is going to take you a minute to train your eyes to seeing these patterns, to seeing the transitions. And once you've done that, it's really important to pair it up with another component of technical analysis, such as patterns. Now, I use Elliott Wave for my pattern identification component in my system, but you guys could use any type of pattern identification system. They would all have some sort of relationship or correlation to ranges that would make it easier to navigate what time frame you're likely moving into. Now, I'm putting everything that I know out on YouTube and online for you guys to take advantage of. So definitely make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I release the next videos. And I'm going to drop 2 more videos for you guys right at the end of this video here for you to take advantage of. That will walk you through my favorite SMC strategy, and then also share some information around order blocks, which pairs really nicely with the time frames here. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Much love, everybody, and take care.